Highlanders. My name is Brandon Young, and I am your host for today's show. Today, we are going to talk about the upcoming phenomenon of Hacky Sack. Here's Juliet to tell you a little bit about the history of Hacky Sack.
While it might seem like this craze came from nowhere, Hacky Sack was actually invented in 1972 by Mike Marshall and John Stahlberger in Oregon as a way to exercise and rehab a knee injury, transforming a simple beanbag kick into a national craze. It was officially trademarked by Whammo in 1983, and the game popularized a footbag circle that remains an easy and portable way to have fun with friends. Now, I'm kicking the sack back to Brandon.
Thanks, Juliet. That was such an interesting backstory of the game. Now that we know a little bit about how the game was created, Lucas and Michael are going to explain the rules of the game.
Remember when the only thing that mattered after school was keeping a tiny bean-filled sack from hitting the ground? It's time to bring back the Hacky Sack.
Rules of the Hacky Sack include no hands, only feet, shin, shoulders, or head allowed. No self-serves, you cannot serve or pass the sack to yourself. And if the bag dropped, it is immediately restarted, usually by a polite toss.
A hack is a full round where every player gets a touch, and a stall is catching the bag on a foot or knee rather than kicking it immediately.
Wow, what an interesting explanation by Lucas and Michael. This skillful game doesn't have many rules, but it's still quite difficult to play. Recently, Hacky Sack has become so popular that many schools, including Northern Highlands, have created social media accounts about the game. Let's hear more about that from Muggsy and Cole. Over the past month, Hacky Sack has made a noticeable comeback. What was once a staple of past decades is quickly regaining popularity, but this time with a modern twist driven by social media. Instagram and TikTok accounts began popping up left and right, ranking schools based on their ability to play Sack. Accounts like NJ Sack and Barstool Sack have been posting the best clips sent to them from high schools around the state and even the country. NJ Sack, which has already built a following over 10,000, has been taking things even further by organizing a March Madness-style tournament. Schools are seeded based on the quality of the clips they submit, and winners are decided through public voting in the comments. Now back to the desk. It looks like the game has really taken the media by storm. Speaking of storms, I wonder what the perfect Hacky Sack weather is. I know we can tell you more about that in this video made by Reed and Brandon. Hacky Sack is a game that is best played outdoors, so the weather has a major impact on the experience. The ideal temperature for playing Hacky Sack is around 60 to 70 degrees because it provides comfortable conditions without being too hot or too cold. Since the game requires constant movement, including both upper and lower body coordination, players need to stay comfortable in order to play well and avoid getting tired too quickly. Wind, rain, or extreme temperatures can also affect the game by making it harder to control the Hacky Sack and move around comfortably. Hacky Sack is a game. I can't wait to play some Sack with my friends this summer in the nice weather, but since it's getting so nice, I would like to introduce you all to a new segment on Highlands Highlights called the Hacks of the Week, where we discover some of the best players at Northern Highlands.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I'll be presenting the Northern Highlands Hacky Sack Highlight of the Week. Today's Highlight of the Week is brought to you by the Northern Highlands Hacky Sack team. The Highlands varsity team faced off against St. John Vianney in the first round of the NJA US Open. Most of this team is made up of cross players from Northern Highlands. This was their submission for the first round of the tournament. There are weekly games where you can go and vote for Highlands on Instagram at the National Hacky Sack Association so they can go all the way and win. Now, back to you, Brandon. Hi,
That was a great clip by Alex. That's all we have for you today, Highlands. I hope you enjoyed the show and played some Hacky Sack today. See you next time. I'm Brandon Young.